All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back here for week number 7 of Backyard Bookies. Scott, you're back. We missed you last week.
Yeah, I had a little adventure in Nashville, and didn't get to get on the pod that week, but
You partook in a
probably
little too much beverage. This party.
no, but we did hit Broadway a few times, but as one does in Nashville, but no, had some plane issues and had some battery issues and had a flight that night, so couldn't really jump on, but didn't really matter because my picks stunk anyway. So
Everybody
what's new?
stunk. It's been
Can't
bad for us. It's been really
can't
bad for us.
I I even put in some other bets besides the ones I had on here, and those also lost. So besides maybe one, the Ole Miss, I think I picked Ole Miss -17, and they barely covered with like 40 seconds left in the game, and I was like just shitting my pants. So I was like, am I ever gonna win another bet? And I'm glad I did finally win that one, but it's been rough, and I really had to take a few moments of self-reflection and
You
try to
text
get
me.
back on the horse.
I
So hopefully
I
we got
thought you
some
were
good picks this
done.
week, but I'm getting close. If this continues, I don't know if my credibility can last much longer. So
I
this is pretty pathetic.
we might have to change things up, like you said, before the stream, just to get you refocused over here. But let's just not even talk about the past. Let's focus on this week. What do you got for $20 bet this week?
$20 bet. We all watched this team. It was actually in my lock last week. I just keep picking the same teams and probably gonna keep
Stop.
losing, but who
You're
knows?
over on them all year.
Got Oklahoma -9 against Kansas. It's probably not a popular bet. Obviously,
Uh,
Kansas still doesn't have their quarterback this week, Jalen Daniels. But on the flip side, Oklahoma does actually have a quarterback this week. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure he's playing. If he's not playing, then I'm gonna have to reconsider this bet. This bet's kind of the same as an Oklahoma, not Oklahoma, an Alabama Tennessee kind of bet. If Bryce Young plays, Bryce Young doesn't play, that's going to be a big swing in which way people are going to bet. And this way, Oklahoma has a quarterback. I think obviously, if anybody out there watched the UT Oklahoma game last week, that was their issue. They didn't have anybody who could play quarterback, and literally couldn't do a damn thing against Texas. So getting him back, they'll be at home -9 against Kansas, who we still, I think most people don't think, a lot of people don't quite buy into them yet. They're still Kansas. They put up a good fight against TCU, and their backup quarterback kind of kept them in the game. But I think Oklahoma can bounce back and take this game. Probably I like it by 10 actually. So I'm liking the line. Oklahoma -10. Dylan Gabriel coming back. You know, putting up some more points than zero, and getting a big win for the Sooners.
I'm gonna put a pin in that one because maybe I got something else to say about this already. I'm gonna actually touch on baseball. Was gonna do baseball last week, but we got delayed. The pick was the Phillies. The Phillies did end up winning that first game. It was very good, that ninth inning comeback against the Cardinals. So it wasn't an easy one at all. But Dodgers Padres tomorrow, Friday night, game 3 of the series. Heading back to San Diego. Gonsolin versus Snell. Now, Gonsolin was elite first half of the season. You couldn't touch this guy's stuff. It was unbelievable. I think he was like 8-0, 9-0, whatever, first half of the season. Ridiculous stuff. Not a great second half. Considered just a little down. Still excellent stuff for the season. But Snell hasn't been Blake Snell in a while now. Kind of okay. 3.5 ERA, I think. Especially at home in San Diego. Both games have hit over 7 runs. Eight runs in the first 2 games. So I really like the over -120 here. At 7. I think this is going to be some offense. Both these teams can hit. Both these teams know each other well. And San Diego's got a little bit of belief now. They were 4-14 against them in the regular season, which is abysmal. You don't really see that at all from playoff teams within a division. If they're bad, you only see that maybe the Astros and the A's look something like that, but I doubt it's even that bad. So I think the Padres really starting to get a little bit of life here. Big performance from Yu Darvish yesterday, kind of in a must win to keep the season feeling good. So I like this game to score some runs here. Snell got roughed up a little bit against the Dodgers this season, giving up 6 runs in 6 starts. So not 6 starts, 3 starts. 3 starts against the Dodgers, 6 runs. So I like Snell over here. I like over in this game. I think there's going to be some runs scored. So over 7 Dodgers Padres tomorrow night.
There's way too much instant offense on both sides of those in both dugouts.
Yeah.
Couldn't spit that out. Yeah, with Freddie Freeman, Juan Soto, Trey Turner. I mean, there's just a whole host of characters that can hit homer. So I think 7's very doable. Blake Snell can be very, very good, and I've seen him be very, very, very bad. So I guess it all just depends on what he's going to do in the playoffs here. But yeah, I think 7 runs can get it done. For my second bet, I'm going to the SEC. I don't know if may have picked these teams once or twice. I'm not 100% sure, but I have Mississippi State and Kentucky. -4 with Mississippi State and the over under 49. I'm really liking the over. Last 3 games with Mississippi State, 40, 42, and 45. They obviously aren't playing, the best defenses in the world. I mean, A&M is a pretty, I would say,
but that was the offense that gave them
above
those
average.
points.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they are an above average defense, I would say, for A&M, putting up 42 against them. The only really worry I have is Kentucky with their running game. They can, kind of cut the game down by a lot. Unders twice in the last 2 games, and then 3 out of the last 4. Actually, 4 of the last 5 with Kentucky. So that's really, really kind of an issue there. They can run the ball and kind of shorten the game, but it's just the complete opposite on the other side with Will Rogers throwing the ball around. He can sling it. He'll be throwing 350 yards. He's got weapons, so I think they can break that 49. If I get Kentucky to get 21, I'm pretty sure Mississippi State can get that other 28. So I'm liking that a lot. I was even maybe considering my lock, but I'm going to keep it at 40. So yeah, Mississippi State, Kentucky over 49.
Love that Mississippi State offense. It's just so hard to trust a Mike Leach team, isn't it? It feels so hard. Sometimes they just underperform in big spots.
I don't know. He's committed more to the running game. He's changed a little bit. He's not that run and gun guy like he used to be at Tech that ran the ball 3 times a game and just slung it with Graham Harrell and whatnot. He's committing a little bit to the run now, so he's changed a little bit. He's adapting. And I like Mississippi State. They're a good squad.
Oh yeah, they're definitely. And then I think Kentucky should have their quarterback back. That'll help. He's been out. He was out last week against South Carolina, so that should help some things out for them. So I like that over too. Mississippi State scores 1,000,000 points. They could get to 35, and Kentucky's only got to get to 14. And so it's really good. It's not like Mississippi State's defense anything to go crazy about here. It's just an average defense for them. I am going back to that Kansas-Oklahoma game here. Man, Oklahoma's defense is atrocious. You say it was because they didn't have a quarterback. That's what the Oklahoma fans want you to think. Do you remember watching that TCU game? The offense wasn't the issue. That defense was Swiss cheese. My boy Duggan over there was running for 60 yards, throwing for 60 yards. See, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. And it was the same with Texas. I don't think Texas they were running a high school offense, it looked like Texas. They didn't even break out their good shit. And they had no problem.
Both teams had quarterbacks.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
this doesn't have a quarterback.
Yeah. I'm saying Dean was good. Dean was good against TCU. That game could have easily gotten blown out. He scored 2 touchdowns against TCU late to go get a score. They were losing. He came back, took the lead. They ended up losing the game. Dean, I liked what I saw from him. He was not a huge downgrade from Daniels. Little bit of a different offense for Kansas there. Daniels is the elite dual threat option. Dean's a little bit more of a passer, but he could sling the rock. I like what I see from Kansas offense. They have fantastic play calling. They were breaking out plays left and right against TCU. So I don't know who's calling plays up there in Lawrence, but I really like it. If it's their head coach, he's doing a phenomenal job. Defense isn't the best, but I think Oklahoma's going to be able to score, but I don't think Oklahoma's going to be able to stop Kansas. So I'm going to take the 9 points here with the Jayhawks. I think this is a good football team. I think Oklahoma's a really bad football team. Now, Oklahoma could win this game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than Sooner fans want to see. Gabriel's not a huge upgrade at quarterback for Oklahoma. They have a lot of issues all across the board. They've played some real teams for the. They got Gabriel. Gabriel played
Great,
against
so what
Kansas.
they had against Texas?
Okay, yeah, they scored 0. What did they score against Kansas State and TCU? Nothing. Kansas State destroyed this Oklahoma team. Destroyed them. They pushed them around up and down the field, and Gabriel didn't even get hurt in that game. He got hurt against TCU. The offense wasn't the problem, like I said, against
34
TCU.
and 24. That's a lot better than 0. That's saying.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking Kansas plus
0.
9. They got scored. Their defense is the problem. Their defense can't stop anybody. Kansas will score 35 points this weekend. They're not stopping them. So I'm taking Kansas plus 9 here.
All right. Well, we'll have a talk, I'm sure, next week about what happens. But obviously showed that Oklahoma cannot do anything without capable quarterback.
They could win the game. I just think Kansas is going to keep this thing close. Their defense is bottom in the country, maybe the worst.
That's totally fair. They're atrocious. We'll go to the next one. I'm sure we'll have a nice chat next week about it. But
Rock chalk.
You know what? While you were talking, I was looking at my next bet, and you know what? I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to make my first flip flop of the year.
Okay, I like it.
I had Colorado. I don't think anybody's going to be watching this game. What is it even? It's on the Pac-12 network. I don't think anybody even has a Pac-12 network in the whole United States. So, this will mostly be a gamecast game. But Cal is minus 15. Colorado is potentially the worst football team besides UMass, like I said last week, in America. They probably are. I think UMass is probably the second worst, but Colorado is still winless. They're the only winless FBS team in America.
Oh, poor Buffaloes.
It was actually funny for a little while. It was Colorado and Colorado State were the only two. So a little sad.
Did they play each other?
No, but who did? I don't know. Colorado State I think won last week, but anywho, I had the over under 48 and a half in this one. I had the under. Looking at the scores we've been putting up here, Colorado's put up 20, 17, 7, 10, 13. That's pretty pathetic. I think Cal can probably put up a whole lot more. They've been doing decent against the teams they've been playing. Wazoo, they put up a stinker with 9, but Arizona 49, UNLV 20. Not great either, but UC Davis 34. I think they can probably break 48 and a half, 7 touchdowns. Maybe Colorado gets 2 touchdowns, and Cal gets the rest and covers that. I mean, if they score exactly 7 touchdowns, that's the cover for you. It's not like it's 49 and a half that they gotta get that hook. So it kind of helps a little bit with the minus 1/2 from exactly 7 touchdowns. I don't think either team is going to be kicking field goals. I can't imagine Colorado even has a field goal kicker that is capable. So I don't think there'll be too many field goals. So it's going to be a touchdown. Whoever can score touchdowns is going to make that the point total go up. So Colorado's atrocious. So 49, they can get 49. So I'm actually going to take the over instead of the under for $60, 48 and a half. I'll change it on action here in a second, but I don't know. This doesn't.
It's not sitting right with you, is it?
Something just didn't feel right.
I flip-flopped last week with the Vikings Bears over under. I had the over and I flipped to the under and the over hit. So be forewarned about flip-flopping over here.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado last 4 they've been over, and then Cal they're 3 unders, 2 overs, so it can go either way. They played Notre Dame and Wazoo, so pretty decent teams, and they didn't put up too many points against them. Totals have been around 50, so they've been pretty much sitting around the same all season, regardless who they're playing. So I don't know, man. It's like I've been doing good anyway. Might as well see if a flip flop can change my juju.
Mojo. I feel like you and Joel Klatt are the only people that have faith in the Buffaloes ever at any point.
I have no faith in Buffaloes. But
it's enough.
Faith
enough. Score points.
Enough to score 2 touchdowns, hopefully.
That's a lot. I'm gonna head on over to the ACC for my $60 bet. This used to be a big rivalry, perennial rivalry. We got Clemson and Florida State this weekend. The Seminoles have been an absolute dumpster fire the last 5-6 years. I mean, embarrassingly bad for that program. But they're doing a little bit better this year. They're 4-2, some nice wins. They played NC State pretty tough this past weekend. But man, Clemson and Dabo seem to have something going here. The offense isn't what it used to be. It's not a Deshaun Watson run offense or anything like that. But they're 6-0. They're doing enough. They're undefeated. They're given 3.5 points here on the road in Florida State. I just don't trust Florida State at all. They spent a lot of effort and energy to play a 19-17 game against NC State last weekend. You know, Clemson took care of NC State pretty comfortably. They won by 10. They were in pretty much control. But, I mean, and it's not like Clemson has struggled at all. Blew out Boston College. They blew out NC State. The only game they really didn't cover was 7.5 against Wake Forest, which they won by 7 in overtime. And then they didn't cover 33.5 against Louisiana Tech. They won 48-20. So it was 28, not 33.5. So they're doing more than enough on offense. I just don't really trust this Florida State team. I think they're a little overrated. I think we're getting blinded by the fact that, oh my God, Florida State is kind of back to playing like football, that they're not a complete dumpster fire, that they're overvaluing them. They didn't look good against NC State. They had a chance to win that game. And say what you want about A&M's last play, Florida State one-upped us with that, but nobody really gave a shit. It was a way worse play than the A&M play they ran to lose that football game. So I'm not a big believer in this Florida State team. And when it comes down to it, I think Dabo's a good coach. I think Dabo wins football games. The hook is a little scary at 3.5, but I think Clemson wins this game kind of comfortably. I could see a big letdown from the Seminoles here. It's the 6:30 ABC game. They're going to have all the juice, all the hype, and I think they come out a little flat here. So I really like Clemson minus 3.5 here. I think they're running the table in the ACC, and I don't think they really get pushed by anybody.
Yeah, Clemson's definitely a different team this year, so I think they can probably cover that 3.5. I don't know. It's just Florida State. They're also a little different than they've been in the past, but yeah, like you said,
they're just not a dumpster fire. This game would be
they're
40.
They're not a dumpster fire.
Underdogs. What do you got? Underdogs this week.
So I got an interesting one, like I have in the last couple weeks. I know what you picked, but
yeah, this is an easy one. Mine. It's
probably Old Dominion, and Coastal Carolina.
Hey.
Coastal Carolina is minus 11.5. Old Dominion money line is plus 320. I just don't think Coastal Carolina has really played anybody yet. They've played a bunch of mostly conference and just kind of cupcake non-conference. You know, Louisiana Monroe, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Buffalo, and I don't even know what that last team is. What is that? GWB? I don't even know what team that is. I mean, Old Dominion's played decent teams, and they've shown they can stay in games. It is a little worrisome that Coastal Carolina's at home. Grayson McCall, good quarterback, probably potentially an NFL quarterback for Coastal Carolina, maybe lower 6th, 7th round pick, but I don't know, just might be kind of their first, I wouldn't say big test, but I'd say just a competitive team that can throw the ball around for Old Dominion. They did beat Virginia Tech. They did beat Arkansas State. They've lost 3 other games, but they're 2-3. But I think potentially, I probably wouldn't sprinkle too much on it. Like I don't think any of us would sprinkle that much money on Old Dominion, but
hey,
I like the value at plus 320. Was plus 340, so it is kind of closing a little bit. So, lot more bettors on Old Dominion. Spread Old Dominion's 58%. The money line, I mean, most people are taking Coastal Carolina, but I like that spread 58%. So. I don't know if I could gamble. I might put like $10 on it just to see if I can win, 30. But I think we'll take Old Dominion plus 320.
All right. I like it. Didn't Old Dominion beat Virginia Tech this year? I think they have a Power 5 win against somebody this year.
Yeah, they
maybe
did. And
Virginia.
They barely lost to Virginia, and then they got touched up against Liberty, but
yeah. Who knows? It's Liberty. I don't hate it. Great mascot game, by the way. The Monarchs and the Chanticleers. Very unique matchup. Like you said, my game, pretty the obvious one. If the colors give it away, I'm sorry. It's the third Saturday in October. For those of us in the South, we know what that means. It's Alabama, Tennessee. This is going to be the biggest game for Tennessee in maybe 7 years. I'm thinking A&M and Tennessee faced undefeated in like 2015, maybe. That was the biggest game for Tennessee. Since then, both teams undefeated. Bama obviously 6-0, Tennessee 5-0. This game is 7. The line's 7 right now for Bama. A lot of it's hinging on whether Bryce Young plays. Alabama escaped last weekend against a much inferior opponent. Got away, and so that's what good teams do. But I really like the quarterback matchup here. If Bryce Young doesn't play, it's a huge advantage for Tennessee. And if Bryce Young does play, even a little bit banged up, it's not a very wide gap. I really like what Hooker does for Tennessee. He slings the rock all over the place. He's flying up NFL draft boards. So I think this is a real Tennessee team. They destroyed LSU last weekend. Now, LSU lost that opening game, but LSU had been playing really well, and they went into Death Valley and absolutely obliterated them last week, 40-13. They're doing good. They had that close game against Florida, but that was like Florida scored like 2 scores late to make that game close. Tennessee was pretty much in control that whole fourth quarter. They've been scoring a ton of points, and this Bama team just hasn't felt right. Obviously, barely escaped in Texas. You know, you can wash out the A&M game, but if Bryce Young doesn't play, you can't wash out that A&M game. They have some problems there. They did okay against Arkansas. Blew out Vanderbilt. Everybody blows out Vanderbilt these days. So I like Tennessee here +7. But I think Tennessee's got a shot here +215 to take home the game. The game is in Knoxville. That's a tough place to play. Home crowd is everything for a team like Tennessee. I think they're going to get out fast. They haven't beaten Nick Saban. They're 0-16 against Nick Saban. They're due for a win. I think somebody said the last time Tennessee beat Alabama, they fell a spot in the rankings. So that's not the kind of Alabama team they're facing anymore. I really like Tennessee here for the upset. +7's a great number here. It's only a touchdown. Don't think Bama's winning by more than that if they win this game. So you can get a nice push there maybe if they win by a touchdown. But I think Tennessee's got all the makings of an upset right here.
I also read that no one's ever sent an iMessage saying that that Tennessee beat Bama. It's been that long. It's been since like what 03 or something ridiculous like that.
04 maybe.
Or what it's been, but no one's sent an iMessage after Tennessee win against Bama. But yeah, the biggest things I'm just looking at action, man. I looked at it earlier this week too, and listened to some stuff on ESPN and Fox Sports. But 90% of people are on that spread, and like I'd say 80% of the people are on that money line. It's just scary, you know.
It's down to 75.
When you got
down
to
to 75,
that many
25.
people on one side, and like I've said, Vegas has those high rises for a reason. Might know something we don't. I don't know. A lot of people hedging on, you know, how they looked last week, how Alabama looked last week against A&M.
Throw that game.
But yeah, I mean, you kind of have to forget week to week how teams look. And sometimes you're going to be overlooking a team. Sometimes they'll prepare badly. You know, sometimes they'll prepare really well.
Well, A&M, Alabama ranked 1 against A&M is a death trap. A&M's covered 5 of the 6 spreads, so that's just a matchup problem, I guess, whatever it is. So,
I mean, they were 24-point dogs in that game and kept it to 4. So maybe Vegas doesn't know what they're talking about. Who knows? But maybe they have no feel for when Bryce Young is out. And if he's out and the spread stays the same, I'd probably just obliterate Tennessee money line or you know, and take
grab
or
the
take
7
the 7
now.
points.
Risk it, right?
I'd just grab the 7 now and just. But if Bryce Young's there, I actually do like Bama to cover. That's kind of my thought. I think they're gonna just kind of forget about the game last week, and obviously you said tough environment in Knoxville. But I mean, what can I say? I was like 1-4 last week. So,
yeah, it just depends. You know, how healthy is Bryce Young? It's everything. Like if it's just shoulders bad, you just don't know. It's a very interesting game here. It's a scary game I would stay away from probably if we were betting like locks, big money. But as an upset, go for it. Why not? +215 with the number 6 team in the country at home. It's hard to take it away from. All right, What do you got for us? Lock of the week. We need these. We need to start hitting these, Scott.
Oh yeah! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
Yeah, when I'm like 1-5-1 or something ridiculous
5.
like that.
Yeah.
Hasn't really been my thing this year. I think last year I was like 70%. This year I'm like 10%. So looking good, but I'm kind of going back to my roots here. Really, really, really big game in Salt Lake City this week.
I like this game. I like this game.
USC and Utah. USC is 3.5-point dogs on the road. They are the 7th-ranked team in the nation. Utah, the 20th-ranked team in the nation, coming off a pretty sloppy loss against UCLA. I think UCLA is starting to show that they can play a little bit.
Chip
Kelly
baby.
can coach some football, unlike his brother down in Baton Rouge, but that's here nor there. Utah plays a lot different when they are at home. I've been to a game. It is obviously not Kyle Field. Obviously, it's not the Grove. Obviously, it's not Alabama. But Pac-12 wise, it's probably the second hardest stadium to play in, probably behind Oregon. It gets rowdy. You wouldn't think it would get rowdy, but it does. They're not all Mormons down there.
The
They're not all
half
Mormons
alcohol
in Salt
beer.
Lake.
The half alcohol beer. They just drink more.
I mean, they're not all Mormons in Salt Lake. They do like to drink a little bit. It's a 7:00 game. They'll have all night to do it, all day, all night to do it. I'm actually just loving Utah minus 3.5 in this. This is not a homer pick. I swear. I don't do those. I just love Utah covering this game. I don't think USC's defense is going to be good enough to keep up. And I think, Caleb Williams and the other boys have kind of shown that they're starting to slow down a little bit. They're not the team they were all guns blazing like they were earlier this year. They're starting to slow down a little bit. Kind of a sloppy win last week against Wazoo. I think Wazoo was actually up at one point.
That was my
14-10
upset
at one
too.
point.
I was a little excited.
Arizona State, they did put up 42, but let them score 25 against them. And then, Oregon State, if we watch that game on Pac-12 Network, which no one did, really sloppy game there. So last 3 games have been pretty sloppy. And I think Utah's coming off a pretty brutal loss against UCLA. That pretty much ruined their chances of definitely getting into a playoff, but probably winning the Pac-12. So they're not going to be very happy. They're a good squad. They're at home. I think all of that put together, I think Utah can over this game pretty easily. I'm just worried about those athletes over there, USC and Lincoln Riley. But lock of the week, Utah minus 3.5 at home against Southern Cal.
I actually took a really good look at that game. I like the pick. It smelt ratty. You see USC, number 7 team, getting 3.5 points against a team that just lost. That smells like a rat trap to get everybody to bet USC. Like you said, USC has been really sloppy on offense the last few games. Just they're not crisp. It's a lot of Caleb Williams just kind of dances, and they're playing a much inferior opponent, so they can just, mess around and just throw something up and the guy makes a play. Utah's not that kind of team. They didn't look great against UCLA, but maybe everyone has slept on UCLA. It's pretty obvious so far. So I really like Utah in this game. If I was betting this game, I was going to take Utah. It scared me off a little bit that Lincoln Riley finds a way to win these kind of games. It may be ugly. I'm the better team. USC's the better team. We pull one out here. On the road, we pull it out. So, but it might be a little too early in his tenure, no. It's not his guys, really. I mean, Caleb's kind of his guy, but he doesn't have the culture set yet. So, I like Utah in this game. 3.5 is a big number, relatively speaking, but I'm okay with it. This could be a game where Utah just blows them out. They run the football up and down the field on them. We've seen Utah do this before. It's a little scary, but I like it. I looked at it. If I was betting it, I would definitely bet Utah in that game. All right, for my lock, I'm going to the NFL. Back to some of my bread and butter, I guess we would say. Maybe the surprising team of the league. Second surprising, most surprising. The New York Football Giants, 4-1, coming off a huge win in London against the Green Bay Packers. But they got the 3-2 Baltimore Ravens coming into town. And this Baltimore team, man, I'll tell you what, I think people are a little low on them. Now, they've blown 2 17-point leads. You can't do that in the NFL. You blow 2 17-point leads, that's a problem. But nice win at home against Cincinnati this past weekend. They run the football so well. Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. You can't stop him. He's a problem. Say what you want about his throwing. It's not the best in the world. He can run the football. J.K. Dobbins, fantastic running back. This Baltimore team knows how to run the football. 7th in running, 4th in yards per play. New York Giants don't really stop the run that well. 26th in run defense. They don't really stop the run at all. And on offense, Daniel Jones ain't moving the ball. It's all about the run game. It's all about Saquon. Saquon's having a resurgence. And this Baltimore defense really isn't that bad against the run. They're 12th against the run in the NFL. Their pass defense is what's abysmal. But I'm really not too worried about Daniel Jones here scorching the Baltimore secondary. They looked a lot better against Cincinnati this past weekend. I mean, Cincinnati's passing offense is one of the best in the games, or at least it should be. And they did a really good job containing Joe Burrow, getting him under duress. I think they're going to be able to do the same with Daniel Jones. Fun fact, only the Minnesota Vikings last weekend were the first team ever to win a game in London and then win a game the next week. So that doesn't bode well historically for the Giants. The number 6, they're on the road, the Ravens. I love the Ravens here. I'll take the 6 points on the road. I think the Giants aren't that good. They're okay. They're 4-1. Your record's your record. But I think they're very vulnerable to a Ravens team that's going to run the football, that's going to control the clock, and that's going to make your run game a little bit more difficult. There's time change. There's a lot of this, that, and the other. I just think it's a letdown week for the Giants, and I think the Ravens are really starting to get into focus. I mean, like I said, if they didn't blow those 2 17-point leads, this team is 5-0. They're undefeated like the Eagles. Let's say you just blow one of them. Say you lose to the Bills, who are a great football team, and you don't shit the bed against the Dolphins. It's a 4-1 team also. So I think this Ravens team is a lot better than their record. I love what they do on offense. It's limited against great teams. The Giants are not a great football team. So I'm going to take the Ravens here, -6. On the road, not worried about the number. I think it's just a really bad matchup for this Giants team.
Yeah, I think despite the record, I think Baltimore is probably top 8 team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar is actually really, really, really good against the blitz too, passing. I think he's actually, I want to say he has like I
think he's number 1.
90 to 100 quarterback rating. He's number 1 against the blitz. So people dog him on his passing. And only think he can run, but no, he can throw it around a little bit too. So I do like that little lag they're gonna have. The Giants are gonna have coming back from London. I even saw Aaron Rodgers talking about probably took him at least a day and a half to just get back and reacclimate. Acclimate at least to London, then coming back right away to acclimate again back to the Eastern time zone. It's not easy. So. That's a few more days of maybe not so focused preparation. Who knows? But I think 6 points is doable. I do like Lamar a lot. I'm not playing him in fantasy this week. But against the Giants, who's 4-1, kind of a fluky 4-1. I think we all know that. They'll play, the Eagles and Cowboys and
lose again. Yep.
See who they really are.
Well, they already lost to the Cowboys, so that's their one loss already at home.
They got three more games against. Those two, so yeah, I like the pick. All
right. Let's run it down again, Scott. So the people can write these down if they weren't paying attention the first time through.
I don't think they want to write my picks down, but hey, I'll
bet the opposite. Bet the opposite.
You can also fade. Go for it. As long as you're winning money, fade me. Go for it. So the $20 bet Oklahoma -9 against Kansas. $40 bet. The over 49 against Mississippi State. Over 49 Mississippi State and Kentucky. $60 bet. I had the under. I'm taking the over instead. 48.5. Cal and Colorado. The money line bet. Old Dominion +320 against Coastal Carolina, and then lock of the week. Go Utes -3.5 against USC at home. I have one listener that probably won't like that bet too much, but shit. Sorry, Kevin.
I like that. All right. Mine. We got baseball on Friday, so you can get your action this weekend started. I got the over 7 runs in the Dodgers-Padres game for 20. Kansas +9 for 40 against Oklahoma. Love that we have a head-to-head, so we could talk about it next week. I got the Clemson Tigers -3.5 on the road against the Florida State Seminoles. Should be no problem for Dabo and the boys. My upset of the week is Tennessee at home against number 3 Alabama. Should be a great game. Everybody watch that game Saturday afternoon. Gonna be one of the best. Third Saturday in October. Their tradition unlike any other. And then for my lock of the week, I got Lamar and the boys, the Baltimore Ravens, -6 on the road against the New York Football Giants. I think we're good this week, Scott. I think we're good this week. We've been saying it all year. But hey, maybe if we're bad, we got to change things up. Maybe we got to do a whole new thing next week if we're bad again this week.
I just want to find that juju we had last year. You know, we had
It was special.
We were killing the locks. You know, we were coming out firing every week. At least 3-2s, 4-1s. It was fun last year. This year hasn't been so fun. I've been able to go places where I can gamble legally, and that's killed me a little bit. So
that's why we're not professionals.
Try and continue.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, if we were good every year, if we could do it every year, we wouldn't need a day job. Am I right? You could do it for fun.
Exactly.
So that's gonna do it for us this week. Again, check us out on Action if you want to fade or follow our bets this week. We'll be back next Friday for everybody. Hopefully, after a monster winning weekend, the elusive 10-0 for us, ever elusives. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week.